Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Checking the mic. Look at me just chilling, comfortable. The light bright. You know what I mean, dude? Fix it. You know, some people have like an intolerance to light. You know what I'm saying? So to be this professional portrait studio, it's not me, man. It's not. It's like blinds my eyeballs, gives me a headache, straight pain in the arse. So I gotta do it how I feel for me, since this is my video. What's up, y'all? Let me see this off real quick. Hello. Welcome to the channel. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. Mic is on. Alright. So we're going to have a little enlightenment session, I'll call it. Okay. It's not scripted. Straight off the cuff. You know what I mean, Billie Jean? Alright. Good. So I'm going to probably sound like a run-on sentence over here, and I'm going to be rambling about a bunch of stuff. So try to keep up. I'll go slow, so then you can understand it. But I think it's about time that me and you had this kind of conversation. Yeah, so prepare yourself. Get yourself a little drink, snacks, put on your SpongeBob pajamas, whatever. We're going to do it right now. Are you ready to rumble? Yeah, let's do it. All right. This, what I do, has never been a plan of mine. Not until 2020. And for those that have been following me, you know that during 2020, that's when God took the frying pan to the back of my squash and set me straight. Straighter than I already was, but more the fact of on my path, on my journey, where and who and why I'm supposed to be in existence. So we're going to do a little background history here before we move forward into this, what I do. So don't get it twisted. Don't fool yourselves over here. Okay, I might look cool, calm, and casual just in some basketball shorts. You know what I'm saying? Shut your mouth. I don't think you understand who you're talking to, first of all. Second of all, it's not an ego thing. It's a generational thing. This, for me, is an outlet of an expression of a God-given gift to help people in the way that I can, in the way that I do, passed down from generations. It's like, I got to stay with fuzzies. I can't stand a fuzzy shirt, fuzzy pants. Fuzzy socks are cool, but, aggravates me a little bit. Because that's not supposed to be the way it looks. Fuzzy, right? It's not a fuzzy shirt. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of snippet of how I feel about it, immediate things. But let's go back to these generational things here, right? Check this out, right? I was born into this kind of gift, but did not realize it fully Until 2020 when I got the pan upside the back of the head. Not the mama or wake up, snap out of it. Here you share, right? When I say generations, it's not just one or two. I mean, this is deep. Like, I understood certain things growing up of why I would feel certain things and see things differently than other people, and was able to pinpoint exactly the deal. Just need enough time and a little conversation or, something tangible other than just my own innate intuition, which is stellar, by the way. And you all know it. You do. So shut your face again. And I mean that in the nicest way. I say shut your face like that because I know people's egos are talking. And we don't have time for ego. The only person that likes their ego is a person that they don't understand their ego. Because they let the ego take over. Why? Because their real self, their higher self, hasn't been found yet. Okay? Cool. Put that in Wikipedia, Webster's Dictionary, or some shit, because it's real. People live out of their egos because they don't know their real true selves yet. But when I'm growing up and understanding certain things, but not everything that hit me. Like, I never understood why I would feel a certain way about either certain people, certain places, or certain things. That was just like cowbells, the dinner bell, spidey senses, all these alarms going off. And I'm like, duh, ding, fries are done. 18, 20, wave 30, 35, whatever. Until 2020. So then, how do I know about these generational things? Well, because I've done my own research, figured out a lot of my own ancestry, but there's still, missing pieces. And that's life's journey for you to go and find those pieces to put your life together as this beautiful picture of who you are and what you're made of. So I was talking to my dad's sister. Shout out, babe. Who I barely knew. Barely squeaking the old memory. I mean, younger, sure. I remember studying more cartoons, chilling on the floor, watching TV. I said, do clothes, can't lay down, with your hands in your face, and all these things, right? Because if you're a Gen X, you're like, your face was right up on that TV, you were in the neck all twisted, tilted up. You know what I'm talking about. Fun times with her back nowadays. But the memories of her were very vague. I mean, not a lot, but the ones that I did were spot on. No mistake in that. I feel like I'm holding like a cigar or some shit. Like, hey, I got an offer for you. You can refuse over here. You know what I mean? But it's more like this. I got this confirmation from talking to her about things. Why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? And this is on my dad's side, who, by the way, I never met my dad. I never knew my dad. Not until I was going in the Army in 2003. And I was like, yo, Dad, I'm in Texas. And I got 10 days to find my family a house. And then I'm going to Iraq. So I wanted to call you, even though I never spoken to you before in my life. And this was me almost 30. Because I was a superhero going into the Army at 29 years old. And smoking all the 18-year-olds, right? Yeah. I did basic training twice. Just because it was fun. So never knowing my dad, therefore never really knowing the sister. but only briefly in some passing young moments. The memory is stuck, the face, there's certain things that hold up, right? Over time for memories. But she confirmed some of the questions that I was asking her, like, why am I doing this? Why do I know certain things? Why can I say some things and it happens? And she would just let it rip. And for those unbeliever ego people, I got plenty of messages. I'm like a screenshot fool when it comes to proving a point, I guess you could say. That's funny, but not fucking really. Because some of those memories and screenshots, I don't really want to keep thinking about, but you got to for a moment. Yeah. Because she had sent me a picture of me as a child, young. And boy, I still look smoking hot. Kidding me? So I'll send that in the video too. You can check it out. Here comes the slideshow. Boom. Check it out. So that's confirmation one side. We'll say like 50% confirmation of understanding who I am and what I am like all about. But in this way of not my physicality. Okay, this is just a flesh suit I'm borrowing to do my assignment, my chores, my homework, whatever you want to call it. My duty, my mission, saving the world, whatever. But before my dad's sister, my mom was big time into this stuff. Because if I found out on my dad's side, this is generations, like 4 generations of psychics. Now let me talk to the people on my mother's side, because, we are 50-50, half of that, half of mom, right? That's how the DNA works. Praise God. So my aunt, who's my grandmother, I love you, Grammy. Mwah! She was my best friend, dude. Like, all my mom, my brothers, everybody, right? But my grandmother was like the shit. I don't know too many people in high school can bring their friends from high school to your grandmother's house. She's going to make you lunch. And then you can all sit down and watch General Hospital with her. Because she'll beat your ass with a plastic tennis racket if you came while the show was on. Just saying. So hearing things about my mom and her sisters growing up, things started to make a lot more sense. Because it was on that side of the family too. Like double jeopardy, double whammy, double potent. Now, that helped me now figure out some of the answers to this mystery of the puzzle I call my life, and understanding what what are these things all about? But the most important thing is that now that we could say this instrument is tuned. I mean, we all need practice training for anything in life to be good at it, or the best you could be. But when you're like tuning a guitar and you're on that last string, there's going to be a time where it's in tune and then you're done. So understanding the dad side, the mom side, these were tuning these strings. Because my mom's sister, the youngest, introduced me to the charts, how to read your chart, how to do tarot, because she did it. Help with the interpretation of the feeling that we call the gut feeling. Or, yeah. So with all those really being in check, now the only thing I needed to finish that last string to be tuned was to test the theory. So when you go to school for 4 years and then you're about to graduate, you got to do your internship. The internship is the hands-on. That's the practice. That's the doing. That's the trials. That's the errors. That's the demons. That's all those things that you got to chew up to fine-tune that last string. And boy, I'm ready for my concert. Because my instrument's tuned. I mean, we should think that there's always the elevation. And you could always do better than you did yesterday. On and on and on. But too far that you're in your ego. So when is your hot air balloon gonna stop before it freezes up in the atmosphere? You know what I mean? Oh. So this, my friends, here is not any kind of joke for me. This is not an impression. This is not a copycat, even though there is free act use, right? This is not an act. And it's kind of like this, man. I feel like this. So if you know any kind of baseball team, just giving this parody because, chicks do know what baseball is all about and they know some teams, right? Right. So we're going to go ahead and pull the Boston Red Sox, right? I'm not going to get into the history about them, all that, because it's pretty juicy, but, we'll talk about, Babe Ruth and all these other things, but let's just go fast forward. The Boston Red Sox had this player, and y'all know him. Nonetheless, the details of the names, the places, things are irrelevant. So I don't want to get sidetracked with that because I was starting to get lost in all of that. Then I found myself at the game. I was like, oh, well, talk to me. Where? You know what I'm saying? How you do at the baseball game? When this person's name is called to go up to bat during a game, the other team, their butthole clenches real tight because they know this dude is good. And he's gonna rip the cover off of it and smack it right out the park for a home run, grand slam, whatever. So that's the analogy that I'm trying to use with the fine tuning of the vehicle, the strings, like this vessel being almost full with all of its divine gifts. So when I got to know all this stuff and I started doing this in 2020, I was stupid in understanding the process. Because to me, at that time, it wasn't about the process. It wasn't the algorithm. It wasn't how many likes or how many views or, how many shares or who got my message or who's going to comment and say they at least understand because they're in, the message was in left field, but they, left center. So they understood some of it. But no, I was not about any of that junk because I knew internally from that frying pan in the back of the head that this is the way and how, maybe even as a starter, to start working on the internship. I mean, besides my own life experiences out of this idea, but there's more of you that I hang out with like this than there would be in my own real personal life. So, yeah, I got to give a shout out and thank you guys for that, at least for the endurance, for the support, for the actual kind, generous, true, interest. I've said things to people. Let me give you a little analogy over here. A few years back, my middle daughter, I love you, was having her graduation party. Of course, Dad's there with a big old bouquet of flowers, all this, sweating my ass off in the middle of the field, no shade, you know what I mean? It's hot, 95 degrees. I'm in a time, dying, man. She had a friend's house. Her friend's over at the house after her graduation, because we're having the graduation dinner. And of course, me driving all the way from Texas to Massachusetts with 2 dogs by myself was fantastic. But I didn't bring my tarot decks with me. So then I had to buy one there and it was cool, whatever, worked it out. So now we're eating, radio's going. Then I meet her boyfriend at the time, whatever. And he was prodding me a little bit about the tarot. And, the suggestion from the ex was to be like, yeah, you got it, what above, promoting the scene. Like she's like some big famous boxing promoter, right? So then I bust out the cards. So then I do my daughter's boyfriend's tarot card reading. And this is the first time meeting this kid, seeing this kid. Dude, I don't have to Google people. I don't have to do the background checks, all that shit. Because what I'm not going to find out, you're going to tell me. I hope y'all know I'm really dropping gems for you. Yeah. So I did his tarot card reading. And this kid was probably like 18. Oh, just graduated, right? Dude, I had this kid in tears. Tears. I felt bad. But I knew exactly what I was talking about, was what he was going through. And you could see it physically by the reaction of his emotions, of the connection, of the relatability of the energy transfer. So then I ended up doing like 7 tarot card readings. I'm like, I'm done. Everyone's like, do we? My daughter had her friends there. It was cool. Good time. So this is real because it's always been a part of my life in some form or fashion. When I was young, like 7 years old, my mother would take the kids, because that's how Gen X did it. You could sit in the front seat with no seatbelt, smoking in the car, flicking the ashes in your eyeballs, just not worried about the things we worry about now back then. So my mother would take me to the dog track with her, third husband, 4th husband, something like that. I don't want to go there. And he was like a member of the dog track, racing the greyhounds. And he had VIP, so we'll go up in the clubhouse. Yeah, whatever. Pimping it in the 70s, right? This guy had like polyester pants, all that shit, right? Gold chains, the Italian horn, stupid shit, right? But my mom would come up to me and say, hey, baby boy, can you pick me some numbers for the doggies? Or which names do you like for the doggies? And I would tell her. She fucking win every time. Well, mostly damn near every time. From what I remember. It was constant. And that's a scary gift. Because if you misuse it, it could be good for the moment, but you could tear the rest of your life up paying back for what you stole. Universal law, baby. the gifts that we get, we can't abuse. So sitting here and listening to jokers say this is fake, I'm a phony, the insults are beyond the surface of my skin. Because now you're trying to whack at my soul. And you ain't going too far with that. So just stop that. You always test the spirit. So if people doubt you, then you show them in a way that they won't doubt you again. But I won't show you all my goodies. Not supposed to. Because it's a mob scene right now. Imagine if it was more intense with the details of events or people, whatever. And the burden is knowing that knowledge. But it's the vessel that is the energy transfer. So the collective consciousness floats their emotions, their problems, all their stuff in the electro air, we'll say. And us people, we can pick those kind of things up and translate them as we do with like these 3x5 cards and things. You know what I'm saying? So when I get to throw down on telling you that I think something's going to happen, you know, in New York City, or there's going to be an earthquake in like 2 days. Well, then 2 days later, Texas had the biggest earthquakes ever had. Shut your face. Fine tune, baby. It's not perfect, but for what I understood and what I know of the details so far, because I know that there's some more buried treasure info out there. It's going to put that final quarter turn on that string. And then y'all are done. All done. This is the divine way. If you were born into something like this and you have generations of ancestors that have experience in this, y'all better stop. Please. Now I'll say this. When you have this kind of ability, this gifts, privilege, when you come into people's lives, it is devastating. Especially for the people that catch on. Because they're level-headed, they're smart, maybe they're a little bit intuitive themselves. But not as developed. So they get their spidey senses about how you're picking up on their shit. They don't like it. Some people do countermeasures, some people just choke on it and go. Excuse me. But not many people want to hang tight, stick around. That's why I don't have a lot of subscribers. I mean, I'm battling, you know, the whole big shut your mouth thing, but it's that reflection of this is what you're doing, because what I see what you're doing is now in some form or fashion or conversation or relatable something. Then I'm going to show you exactly what you're doing, because I'm going to do it and you're going to see what it looks like. And then you're going to feel dumb, stupid, shame, guilt, all these things or whatever, in that sense of being a mirror. Now, physically, I might not be doing everything everybody does. Like I say, conversations, visuals, however that message has got to be relayed. You are going to know that those parts of you that need to be healed, helped, that are hurt, broken, unloved, those are the highlighted parts in your story that I put the magnifying glass on. But see, it's not out of ego or cockiness or whatever you might want to call it. I've been there. I have the same experience. This is how I pulled my head out of my ass. This is how I did this. This is that. Blah blah blah. So it's just not only by the intuitive soul sense of the gift, but it's also through the experience. So if somebody can go through things, come out better than they were before they got into those, progress even farther than a person who is not willing to take that journey, keeps getting stuck and over. It's like a repeating record, really. I'm about to bump the table so that bitch can scratch. Now we can put on a new record because I'm tired of that one. You know what I'm saying? So it's meaning how many times do some people have to show you before you know you to not show that to anybody else? Because that's not really you. Because you're dealing with things that you have not looked at. This is what I believe. That's why people have problems, issues. Okay, so picture yourself 8 years old, ponytail, pigtails, braces, pimples, and a little chunky. Chunky as in most girls, most boys around your age, 10, 9, whatever I said. You're in the husky clothes. And people in school are bullying you and calling you fat and this and that. So it hits you hard at that moment where there's going to be a deciding factor in a nanosecond of your brain's computing how you're going to handle it. Now, with a stable kind of family bringing up, I think you'll register and process that pretty quickly to be like, I'm not fat, I'm just husky, whatever. Some people can't digest that processing, so then it just stays with them. And they repeat that message, that algorithm, that timer on the microwave, beep, 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 beep. It won't stop until you open the door, right? Right, same thing. So when you are ready to look at yourself, that is going to be the hardest part, because you know why? That hardest part that you had to deal with, you couldn't look at your whole life, and somebody's going to show you it real easy. And then you're going to see the benefit of the experience of, oh, wow, we have something common, but it's not really. And how they can pull out of it and be better and just show you the way. And you don't follow along. You color outside the lines. You're putting a square peg in a round hole. Because you want to. Because that's just what you think that you want to do. Because that's what you knew how to do. Because maybe you didn't have that parent to show you how things work. Because I never did. I had to do everything for myself. So if I can take that life lesson journey, give it to you in about 6.5 seconds. And you fight it. I know that's the fight. I know. It's the initial shock. I get it. But if you keep getting prodded and you keep refusing to see the picture, then the train does come to the end of the station. The bus does pull into the garage and park it for the night. Because its shift's over. And sometimes people in this moment of, we'll call self-reflection through somebody else, they don't like what you're showing them. Because they never dealt with seeing that within themselves to change it. But in that process, they're not realizing you're trying to show them the change, help them through the change. Because you've been there. You know how to do it. You beat the final boss. I'm saying. So then that's how we get haters and enemies and envious and jelly Peanut butter and jelly people. Because for some reason they know that what they see is recognizable, but they don't have it, and you do, and they can't process that. But you've been showing them, and it just doesn't stick. So then it's out of your hands. So to cut off all that circus drama and all that other stuff, we use these things like tarot and some occult, true history things that have worked to fine tune, enhance the gifts that we were born with. Not everybody's got them, by the way, so don't get all in the rowdy and be like, let's go celebrate because I'm psychic. Well, people will put you to the test. And you fail, you're going to look like a charlatan. And to me, when I go on this place, I ain't got nothing bad to say about anybody. And I got to say something real quick before I keep going. Anyways, I want to give apologies to the people that I might have offended in a way that was sarcastically truthful, in maybe making fun of or bullying a little bit. So VP Harris, sorry. Joe Biden, sorry. Other people have used examples, exes, friends, whoever was that brunt of the joke or the video. I took it a little too far. Because that's not my nature, but it's just the way of the world that you get drawn into when you're battling things with people that are on a large scale. And I'm only one person. So anyways, I think I was about to forget what I was going to be saying. Squirrel! Energy is real. People see energy. People feel energy because it's alive. Energy is alive. Go ahead, put your finger in the electrical socket. Tell me you ain't gonna feel that bitch alive. Stop it. Certain people on this planet are like that. And certain people in high places know that. They know that. So they try to manipulate that shit. I'm not getting into the 3-letter word abbreviations for bureaus and things like that, or missions. We all know that already. Not proof positive because, truth stands with facts. And don't never forget that the devil will mix the truth with the lies because he is not capable of producing anything new. He has to take something old or what is already here and manipulate in a way to make it look new, i.e. Adam and Eve hate, we're humans. And he hates that about us. Because you know why? God loves us more in Satan's eyes. Because we're favored more than the angels. The history, find that out. That started the rebellion. Jealousy. Envious. You make us from clay and I'm from fire. And you love them more? Well, stop with your ego already. So the menagerie of trickery is the copy. Antichrist, Christ. Good, bad. Religion, spirituality. You see it now. You see the bite of the apple. People sniff that out too easy. So then the devil's got to work harder with his team to suppress that because the devil has no time left to keep going the schemes to take over and be higher than the Most High because there is nothing higher than the Most High. Trust me. I know. Because I just know. That's for another video, okay? Okay, we're not getting into those effects, experiences. We're getting into this specific idea. So the gut feeling, the tingly, the spidey senses, I probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't go. You better listen to that. Because then you're going to be fine tuning yourself. But you got to give yourself that moment to be shocked when you find out some things about yourself that you never really wanted to look at. But when you do, and you don't like it, Linda, well, guess what? That is that nanosecond to be able to be changing it in a heartbeat. More fine tuning. So I appreciate everybody's little challenges and their quizzes and their little snarky comments and their doubtful, blasphemous, false accusation statements, whatever. Don't try me. I've shown people things that made them shit their pants because the physical reality in that second was changed. And how did you do that? Yeah. How did you know? I know because I know. And if you know that I know, well, then you can know what I know. And then we both know what is known. You know? So please, let's clean it up. Let's clean it up. Obviously, you don't see the weather pattern changing to accept what's happening. You are supposed to be ascending to a higher place of your consciousness because most everybody else is. Because the people in our predicaments are the ones that are showing you how to be, do, and get all of us to a better place. Not only just with ourselves, but for everybody else. So you could be the person running up on the bus that just took off. You're almost there catching it. You're going to be able to grab that handle, get on the bus, driving 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour. Or you ain't going to be able to keep up with your little legs. And the bus going to roll right by you. There is time to perfect things, but you have to accept the reality that you freaking live in. If something is stupid as a joke that does not make sense for anybody, I think consensus says that's not a great idea. Too many issues to talk about right now with all that. But you get the point. And so the more that you can focus on yourself to pull these little things that are just thorns in your sides, ego, jealousy, envy, all these things can easily disappear. And then things will change naturally because you're a different person on a higher level sense. How good would that be if we didn't have one person at a rally that's different that says, screw you, you suck? When everybody can just be like, on the same vibe, same consciousness, the same elevation, with the same purpose and the same intent to better yourself, to better us, to better we. Because right now, the way it's running, the way things are going, it's been sucking for a long time. Living in lies and deceit and trickery and bullying and false this and AI that, and trickery and catfishing and you name it. It's gross. I'm tired of it. And I'll battle it every day to stop it. Because that's not the truth that I live in. It surely isn't your truth. So we're going to pull out all of your dirties, your insecurities, your worries, your fears, your anxiety, and we're going to do some laundry. But right now, you can hear my little baby girl over there. Come here. Gotta take her out to go potty. Great Gil. Think about what I said to the heroes that know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm a sovereign spirit that only works for God. So judge me as you may, but ye without sin may cast that first stone.